India has a very interesting way of approaching how planning is done. So there are laws now in place. So I don't want to be that guy. But at the moment, no. I don't want to travel. Then I don't have any glory in this. I waited in the traffic jam for 2 hours, and wow, I'm so cool. Many people say, "Yeah, development hua hai." When they see a constructed building.
But are the correct professions actually planning Indian cities?
Ha. So on that question.
Yeah. Okay. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode on the ShodhEco Podcast. I'm your host Siddhartha and today we have a very special guest, Mr. Siddhartha Benninger. Mr. Benninger has spent over a decade working in the fields of urban planning, governance and citizen participation, and most importantly, someone who is not afraid to call a spade a spade. And that's what makes conversations with him very interesting. In a world where conversations on cities stay theoretical, Mr. Benninger has worked on the ground, collecting data and actively participating with citizens, and asking questions of whether our cities know their own limits. It's lovely to have you here on the podcast today, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome. And to everyone of you watching, please stay tuned. I think we're going to have a wonderful conversation here today.
We shall.
Yes. So let's start with urban planning. In layman's terms, what is urban planning? And do we have plans for the city that fix land use, etc.?
Okay, wow, that's a loaded question. In the sense that it's a long answer. The short answer is urban planning is essentially the arrangement of land, the regulation of land use.
Okay.
What I mean by regulation is how the land should be used.
Right.
So when we plan, we say that okay, this can be residential land, this can be used as commercial. In some cases, a building can be used as partly commercial and partly residential. So land use deals with how you use the land. The land could be used as a garden as well. So, but once that use is put on that land, that becomes the law, and then that land cannot be used in any other way. Right. So that's part one. Part two is urban planning deals with, say, the circulation. Right. So it talks about public transportation, private transport. It talks about storage. How do you park your vehicle?
Okay.
Where do you park your vehicles? It talks about how do you plan your routes, your roads. But it also looks at circulation of, say, clean drinking water, electricity, telecommunications. It's also looking into sewage, sewage treatment. So it's essentially the entire city. All its activities, all its cycles, all its processes come within that purview of urban planning.
Right.
And you can take a basic village or a basic, a small unit, a small settlement, which is an easier nut to crack. And once you have more people, the other problem that arises is the problem of negotiating.
Right.
So there are negotiations between various stakeholders, various people, where there is a demand for a particular land use or there is not enough space for parking, and that leads to a lot of conflict.
Right.
So another very important part of urban planning is to decrease the conflict.
Okay.
As we say, decrease the khar.
Okay.
So that is also a very important function.
Right. Okay. So there's one that you get a lot. I've heard it myself. Are you an architect? And those are two different, very different.
Very different things. So architects who are extremely skillful and trained in building design or even campus design, they deal more. You can imagine. Okay, if you imagine the city, and then if you imagine plots,
right,
single plots. Everybody knows the concept of plot.
Yeah.
So the architect deals with that plot.
Okay.
Okay, and what to do on that plot. And normally in response to what a client tells them to do.
Okay.
So, I want a building like this. Udhar uske bahar garden chahiye. Okay, so he'll bring in a landscaper. So these are various functions, right, that an architect carries out, but essentially it's building design. The design of buildings. She does not even they take into consideration construction, but they do not implement. Because then that's a contractor. So there are various functions that take place. Of course, there are a few architects who have their own construction companies and who could construct. But architecture in itself as a field, and it's a field, and it deals primarily with designing homes or buildings, and that in itself is a vast field.
Yeah.
Where it comes to planning, there are many architects who have got planning degrees, and hence this misconception that architects plan cities.
Yeah.
Cities actually, and so that's another part of urban planning. Cities deal with something known as livelihoods, and so you need jobs. You don't go to a city unless you're getting a job,
Right. Yeah.
right? You don't go chill out and like stay in a city just to stay in I mean, there might be some people,
You never know.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm happy for them. But like just chilling, like, no work, nothing, nice life.
Yeah.
Okay, but say 99.99% of the population, that is part of the working population. Okay, that is, so there we also have our dependency ratio.
Yeah.
So there are non-workers like say retired people or kids.
Kids, yeah.
Right? So we are not including them. But 99.99% of the working population would be in a city to work
Right. Yeah.
for gainful employment, which means they have to make money from that work, right? Because then you can also do Shramadan, you can do those things, but I'm talking about gainful employment.
Okay.
And one of the most important functions that a city is supposed to carry out is to plan for the economic development of that city.
Okay.
Right? And so in many situations, many of the negotiations that go on are between, say, environment and economic development.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And that creates a lot of flashpoints.
Yep.
Right? But essentially, an architect is for designing buildings and a planner is for designing cities. Right? So it's a completely different profession. But you can have a background. So there's a lot of architect planners. I have a background in economics, so I can call myself an economist and planner. You can have geographer planners. You can have sociologists and planners. You have people who are in political science and they become planners.
Yeah.
So you can have urban designers and planners. So urban design is again different from urban planning. Okay, urban design is the design of the streets. So it's again, there is a lot of aesthetic involved, but there's also a lot of function involved. So urban designers will look at whether people can comfortably, say, walk, right? Whether buildings facades are proper,
Yeah.
right? So there are various such functions that they carry out. So there is a city is actually it happens because of the skills of many professions. Okay, because then you'll have civil engineers who actually build the city. I mean, they don't build it, but they oversee the building out. You need structural engineers who look into how a building stands. They're especially crucial for high-rise buildings, buildings that go beyond 8 floors, 10 floors. So various professions come together to actually, take care of a city and plan a city. But at the end of the day, what the planners essentially do is they mark out the board.
Okay.
If you looked at the city as monopoly,
Okay.
they will mark out that board. They'll say, okay, this is where you can do this is where you can play, this is where you can stay, this is where you can work, this is how you can do this. Another thing that planners also do, which architects actually are very linked to, and that is known as development control rules.
Okay.
So in planning, we create development control rules for, say, how a building is supposed to be built. So of course we consult engineers and architects. Okay, like is this the correct rule to have? Okay, because the rules can entail building materials. They can entail how long the concrete has to set in which city.
Okay.
It can entail what kind of setback you need from the building. What kind of fire fighting provisions you are supposed to provide. So a lot of these nitty-gritty rules, right? Architect is supposed to follow from that rule book. So planners also partake in making those rules, but usually you need domain experts to make such rules.
Okay.
So planners are not domain experts vis-a-vis, say, architecture, engineering, stuff like structural engineering. We are domain experts where it comes to actually planning the structure of a city. That's why we have something known as structure plans. We have something known as master plans. And when you turn to development plans, so that is another type of plan. We also have another type which is known as town planning schemes.
Okay.
And so each one of them, have different ways of actually arranging the city. Let's call it that. And you also have planning comes under something known as the Maharashtra Regional and Town Planning Act.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a legislation of how you plan a city, what process you follow, right? And say Pune city has a planning department.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, and that's very important, it has to be pushed or it has to be guided through the people, through people's participation.
Okay.
Right? Because it's supposed to, you are the end user as a citizen. Okay, so if you're an end user and if I'm a designer of a city, it's extremely important that I take your feedback. And it's iterative, so I keep amending my plan. But usually a plan is maybe set into law. It becomes a law. Once it is passed, okay, so once I make a plan, it goes through, in Pune, it goes through something known as the general body,
Okay.
who vote on it
Okay.
and who say, okay, this is now the plan for city,
Okay, right.
for the city, right? And you can also give objections and suggestions to that plan. So there is a certain time period that you get, about 60 days, to object to the plan. So, but it's the citizens' job to keep their eyes peeled and actually get their hands on the document, see how their plot is being affected by the plan.
Okay.
Okay, and then if they don't like what's happening, they can also object to it.
Okay. But so then we're talking about people planning the city.
Yep.
But are the correct professions actually planning Indian cities?
Ha.
Because
So on that question, India has a very interesting way of approaching
Okay.
how planning is done.
Okay.
Right? I won't speak for other professions. So what happened was, I think in the beginning, we didn't have so many planning schools, but we had engineering schools,
Okay.
and civil engineering was a big deal.
Right.
And I think they worked it out in their heads that if civil engineers can build and cities are built, then they can plan.
Okay.
Right. So it's like telling, like a heart surgeon to do neural surgery and a neural surgeon to do heart surgery, that kind of thing.
Okay.
The other thing is that you need a lot of nuance, which is not to do with physical planning.
Okay.
Okay. But more to do with habits, more to do with incentivizing habits. So planners also will advise the government on incentivizing how businesses come into cities. You can either give a tax holiday. So that's not what a civil engineer will ever think about.
Okay.
Right? The economics of it and stuff like that. So our planning courses also entail us to actually learn something known as urban economics. So there are various, we have to learn a lot of things. And then respect the fact that we are not the expert for many of those. And to call an expert on board to actually advise us to do something.
Okay.
Right? So, so coming back to that question. So Indian cities are not yet, so there are laws now in place. So I don't want to be that guy. But at the moment, no. There will be maybe even, there will be there'll be engineers who have done a planning course now. Kind of a top-up planning course.
Okay.
They usually go to Singapore or somewhere and they do it. But the thing is
Oddly
that,
specific.
yeah, usually Singapore. We have some fascination with Singapore. Singapore is not fascinated. So, but the thing is so what happens is that they'll do this course and then they'll come back to their department. But in 2018, there was actually a letter by Shivdas Meena, who was in charge of Amrut in Delhi, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs.
Okay.
And he wrote a letter to all the state secretaries. I actually have it.
Okay.
Where he said that it has come to our notice that town and country planning departments and various other departments for planning are not hiring people with the requisite UG and PG degrees
Okay.
in planning.
Right.
And so we would like you to look into it. So whether that's changed or not, I do not know.
Okay.
Okay, I know, but okay, it's not changed much.
Okay.
But there are now planning schools.
Okay.
There are very good planning schools.
Okay.
Like The CDSA is a planning school. Okay, we've got SPA Delhi. So a lot of the SPAs are across India now. School of Planning and Architecture, that's a good school. CEPT Ahmedabad is a good school.
Yeah.
Right. So shout out to all those people.
And your dad too.
My dad was part of the CEPT makeup. Right. So yeah, but not because of that. They are genuinely good. Another thing that needs to be mentioned is that there are planning gharanas.
Okay.
So like in music there are gharanas.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. In the same way, in planning also there are gharanas. There is Corbusian planning. Okay. Then Charles Correa came up with a different type of planning approach. So there are various, we'll call them planning statesmen who were themselves. So they all happen to be linked to architecture. That's why this misconception of that all planners are architects, which is completely wrong. So I am continuously asked whether I'm an architect. I am not. For the record. Yeah. I have even been called architect Siddhartha Benninger in conferences.
Okay.
So that's also wrong. I am just plain old Siddhartha Benninger. And sadly, planners, we don't do planner Siddhartha Benninger.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't sound that cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have done it. Like,
yeah.
Like architects do or doctors do. Yeah. So yeah.
So then, okay, so we have the planners. I mean, we are getting the planners, hopefully. But according to you, then is the problem urban planning or urban governance that holds our cities back?
So it's governance.
Okay.
Planning is in that sense much simpler. If I'm given, so if you have to plan a brand new open plot.
Okay.
Okay, I'm saying like 100 square kilometers, but it's just brand new. It's nothing.
There's
nothing there. Maybe a few villages, but just nothing. That is what we would call a greenfield project. Okay. Or if you have to plan an existing city, that's called a brownfield project. Now, when it comes to existing cities, there are so many vested interests. So it becomes a question of governance and less of planning. Right? If I had greenfield, I can draw the lines, I can do the roads, I can make the plots, I can give the land use, I can give the densities, I can decide what I want.
Yeah.
But in a brownfield, there are already existing stakes, right? Existing ownership. So changing that is very hard, and it entails a lot of negotiation, a lot of money, right? We have something known as the Land Acquisition Act of 18 something, where the government can acquire land for various purposes. So in a brownfield, they will have to give compensation and of that land value.
Yeah.
Right. So planning for me is more of a governance issue now. Because I can make a plan.
Right.
And as I love calling it, it's khayali pulao. Okay. As long as the government passes it.
Okay.
But because there are so many vested interests and so much push and pull, and you wouldn't like it. Like if I change your plot ka land use where you stay, right? And I say, okay, now this we are giving you high FSI. You can make a 10-story building, and all these houses can become 10-story buildings. You might not realize the impact now. That's where people don't object. But later on, if you suddenly have a bungalow society and which turns into a 10-story building society, imagine
more people.
How much population is going to come in there, how much water supply you need, how much traffic will happen, how much congestion will happen. So it just changes the face, and that's happening right now, say in Pune, in Deccan Gymkhana, or in Kothurud. So that whole face is changing. And so we are getting more minor accidents, the more, strife on the streets because there are these small squabbles taking place.
Right.
So the impacts are very different. And, we've been pushing this idea of carrying capacity.
Yeah.
Right? Because we are saying that if you don't have the carrying capacity to carry this population, don't zone. Don't give the FSI. So FSI works as a density management tool.
Okay.
FSI is floor space index. And floor space index is the ratio of your total plot of land. So if you live on a plot of land and you've got, it's 1,000 square feet. And if I said that the floor space index is 1, FSI 1, that means I can build 1,000 square feet. That doesn't mean I can build the exact edges of the plots, because then I'm using DC rules, which I had mentioned earlier, which tell you that I need a setback from this boundary, from that boundary. So your building footprint, which is the last, which is which is the smaller square that takes place after you've pushed back from using the DC rules.
Right.
That footprint will be maybe 700 square feet or something. So then you can build 1,000, so you can build maybe a floor and a half.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
If it's 2 FSI,
You can build 2 floors.
you can build two how many? How much? This is your test.
2.
1,000 square foot plot, 2 FSI. How much can I build?
2,000.
Yes, we have a winner. Lock kar diya jaye. Yes.
2,000.
2,000 square feet. So then I can go maybe 2 stories or 3 stories.
Yep, yep.
Okay, so that's how our buildings form. Many people don't understand buildings ali. Okay, but that doesn't mean it just happened. You know, people negotiated all of this, and which were the architects actually. The guy who designs the building.
Yeah.
They negotiate all these rules and stuff, and then they say that okay, the building is going to be so much, right? So yeah, there you go.
So but since a long time we have believed that more infrastructure meant development, right? But now the cities are facing the backlash of that, you could say. And
In what way? In what way?
So from the Nehruvian
More
era,
infrastructure
meant
means development.
Right. Yeah.
But then what is infrastructure? How do we define it?
I'm just saying building, right? Just building more.
But building is okay. Okay, go on. Yeah.
So and CDSA has always emphasized on decentralization, or you have always emphasized on decentralization.
Decentralization, but that doesn't mean de-infrastructure.
Okay.
Right. That's part one.
But there's this cost of planning a city from the top down instead of taking opinion from the bottom up, basically.
Yeah. So that's part one. That's challenge number one.
Yeah.
So top down, okay, so this whole top down, bottom up scene. Top down is important because there are government policies that come from the center, okay, from Delhi.
Okay.
And they percolate to the states. We are a federal system.
Yeah.
So then, you have certain state level norms. And then they come over the city. So imagine it's like a blanket bunch of norms that come from the state and the federal government, meaning the central government, that you have to follow. Okay, which you have to keep in mind. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Right, because those don't deal with micro aspects like ye building kaise banegi and this and stuff. They deal with more like macro kind of aspects. Quality of life itna chahiye, that kind of thing. But there is a National Institute for Urban Affairs, NIUA, which deals with creating norms, and they have a very good document known as the URDPFI guidelines, right? And they give you a bunch of norms, and those are from the center, right? But it's take it or leave it because it's not a central subject, because we are federal. So it's a state, it's the business of the states, and the states can decide what we want, and that's very wise, and that's decentralization.
Right.
So we are pro-decentralization in that way, right?
Yeah.
Where we are saying that context-specific decisions have to be taken by the people in that context.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. So that is still top-down, but that's decentralized context-specific. But once you come down, like you drill down into the city, that's where things start changing. So there is decentralization. But what happens when you come down to the mohalla level or the neighborhood level? That's where things change because we elect our corporators. Our corporators are usually not planners or, architects or designers. And so they don't know what it is, right? So you can't expect them to make the plans.
Yeah.
So you need professional planners.
Right.
There are no ward level planners. There's no such padvi. There's no such position.
Okay.
And that's what we are saying that you should have. So you don't need a ward level planner, but you need a planning officer, or you need data to be collected from that ward level.
Okay.
Which we call granulated data. I mean, even more ideally, it should be collected from every building. There should be feedback from every person, right? Which gives you a better collage of how people are thinking, what their needs are, what they like, what they don't like. In some cases, they might like something that is, crap. So you don't go with that.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, you do take care of what the people need. So what system is there to take care of what the people? Is there a system that exists right now? No. Right? Unless it's Twitter or something. Okay, or you have morchas and stuff. But like who represents? So I mean, as a political scientist, you will know, right? That if you want to represent groups,
Yeah.
or if you want to identify groups, interest groups, it's very hard, right? So there needs to be some kind of interface for various interest groups to be able to put forth their case.
Yeah.
Okay, but not an interface that is uh, like a hiccup. I don't know what to say. Because it only happens when that event takes place, which is like once every 5 years, which is your votes, right? Which is your election. Because it's like that, right? And after that, everybody shuts up, and then life goes on. So how do you map those common interest groups? So how do you decentralize that power? More than power, it's more like the voice. How do you get that voice from the people? Okay, and bake it into your plans. Right, like we are currently at CDSA dealing with walkability as a big issue, right? And it's a common issue. Everybody, I mean, we are all human. So no matter what interest group I represent, I am the broad part of that broad universe of walkability.
Yeah.
Right, when I'm like, yeah, I want it walkable because somebody from my family or me myself will be walking.
Yeah.
Right, and it's also a healthy activity.
Obviously.
Okay, so then that's where you can start, maybe like that's more of an easy problem to solve, because it's in the interest of everybody, right? So it's easier to convince.
Okay.
So again, I'm coming to governance and convincing people.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why CDSA believes in coming down to the ground level and talking to as many people as possible to understand what the needs of those people. Okay. Then you'll have to map where do those needs clash with other people's needs. Okay, how can you come up with a negotiation at the end of the day? It again comes down to negotiating, right? So this is my point on decentralization, right? What was the other question?
No, the other question was, so the cost of it planning this top down.
No, and you were talking about infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so another thing is the infrastructure is extremely important. Okay, but it has to be infrastructure to scale.
Okay.
What do I mean by that? And this is where that decentralization of infrastructure comes into play.
Okay.
If I'm at the ward level, I need ward level infrastructure. The city is made up of multiple wards. So I think in the case of Pune city, we have 73 or 72 wards, right? But actually we used to have 144 wards.
Okay.
Right, but then now they've got corporators, like 3 corporators to 1 ward, 4 corporators to 1 ward. I do not understand how that works, but that's there, right? Or why it has been done, I do not understand. Okay, if anybody can answer that, please answer that. Comment in the link below.
Right.
So, but the issue is that if you have all these wards, they make up each one is a small part of the city, right? And each one has so the norm is, I think it's 80,000 people.
Okay.
Around
per
ward, and that's an electoral ward. So I think the ratio is 1:80,000. I don't know. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Again, if you know the answer, put it down there. So, okay. So that ratio has to be maintained. So then they've made the wards like that, right? Now at ward level, how do you look at? So would you like to? There's so many concepts coming together. So if you were living in a place where you were staying where you stay, would you prefer going 10 kilometers to college or going 2 kilometers to college?
2 kilometers.
Correct? Okay. The norm for colleges is 100,000, 1 lakh people.
Okay.
You need a college.
That's
right?
the norm, okay.
In Pune, we are blessed. Maybe we have more colleges in that ratio.
Yeah, we do.
But still, if you need to, so college is one thing. If you need to travel for a film, to watch a film, would you prefer traveling 10 kilometers or 2 kilometers?
2 kilometers.
Right. So if eventually what you realize is, I don't want to travel 10, I don't have any glory in this. I waited in the traffic jam for 2 hours and wow, I'm so cool.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what's happening with Bombay. Urfa Mumbai. Right. Because the thing is, in Mumbai, people are like, they've become proud of it. And I can understand their pain. Okay. Because they have nothing else.
They're converting.
They have to be like, at least I'll be proud of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because who wants to sit for 2 hours in a car or even on a bike or something and struggle, okay, in the heat, like in that muggy Bombay humidity, sweat your behind off, and then like reach a place stinking.
Yeah.
Okay, no. So in the same way, if you decentralized infrastructure or amenities, okay, so infrastructure will be broken up into what? Utilities, which is all your water, piping, this, that. Okay, amenities, even electricity will come into utilities. Amenities, which are parks, theater, those are amenities, right? And then what else do we have? Utilities, amenities, and facilities, right? So if you have all their facilities, will normally be interfaces with the government and stuff like a kiosk, stuff like that. All right. So if you have them close, so there is this concept of a 15-minute city.
Yeah.
Okay. It is from Europe. Okay. It is European. And so in that 15-minute city, what they say is it European? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, again.
So in the 15-minute city, right, they say that all your amenities, facilities, utilities, everything, and access to also, they say stuff like spontaneous interactions, meeting people, going to parks, basically living your whole life. Ideally should be within 15 minutes from your home.
Okay.
This is a bit of a village concept also, and I completely agree with it, because in the old days nobody traveled so much every day. Okay, maybe you migrated to a different place, but that was a one-time job.
Yeah.
You didn't start like migrating all over the place, right? Your whole life. So this concept of 15-minute cities, how it helps is, it decreases your car usage. It decreases your energy use, right? It encourages you to walk more, because this is 15 minutes walking, by the way, not your car, right?
Yeah.
Then of course, people get convenient and they can say, car, 15 minutes and stuff. No.
Yeah.
Walking, right? So it encourages walking, cycling. So what happens is that we also think about decentralization in that 15-minute city context.
Yeah.
And that context works amazingly for India, according to me, because not everybody can afford cars, they cannot afford to travel so much. And the most important thing is weather in India.
Yeah.
The weather, the climate.
Yeah.
We move from intense heat to heavy rains, right? So most of the year, except for I think 2 months, which are the winter months. So when you look at the geoclimatic problem of India, people generally will have a lot of problems moving great distances because of the heat, especially people who cannot afford motorized transport, right? So in a way, it's also very equitable. It's more just, right? If you bring a 15-minute city concept. So I feel that is one way. I mean, I'm not pushing the 15-minute city concept, but something like that. So where you have more decentralized facilities and services of infrastructure, right? Now, infrastructure is also roads, right? Infrastructure is also flyovers. So when we say infrastructure, I think generally people think infrastructure means road networks, right? Because you don't generally see the waterworks. You don't generally see the purification tanks and stuff like that. So that's why I was asking you, what do you define by infrastructure? So, I mean, how I would define infrastructure is all these facilities, services, amenities. We are talking about bus transport. We are talking about flyovers. We are talking about sewage treatment plants. We are talking about water treatment plants. We are talking about pipelines, gas piping, everything. All of this is infrastructure. Buildings that are residential or commercial are not infrastructure. Right? They're just buildings. Right? So there's another, I call it a misnomer, that development. Many people say, "Kya development hua hai?" When they see a constructed building. So are you saying that development is only the act of construction? Right? If you had a beautiful garden, you don't think it's developed.
Yeah.
So these questions need to be asked. The way we define words needs to be done very carefully. because actually development actually means to release the potential of a place.
Okay.
Right? Because and it's like it's a bit complex, but it's like a French word, veloper, okay, which has to have a prefix or a suffix or something. So if you think about envelope, what is an envelope?
It's something you like the envelope.
Do you close stuff in an envelope? Does it close things?
Yeah.
He was enveloped by smoke.
Yeah.
Right? So enveloping is to close.
Right.
And then developing is to release.
Okay.
So the idea is you release the potential of a place.
Right.
So you don't need just construction. No? You can do many other things.
Yeah.
So this is why we are also dealing with that concept of development, where we are saying that it's not just construction, right? It can be making beautiful footpaths. You don't need to construct them. It can be gravel paths. So there are many things that can be done that do not entail just construction.
Yeah.
Right? What has happened is that your like the citizenry, and it's not their fault, can see only construction projects, right? So even the political community, and I'm saying from all parties, when they want to showcase something, they want to showcase something constructed because it's the most visual, right, and visible. So what happens is a lot of your monetary resources go into constructing things to appease the vote bank or the voters.
Yeah.
Whereas if I started showing green parks, they won't be impressed by them.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Itna kya kiya hai? Ped to laga hai." Right? But to the listeners, I'd say no. Everything is we call it green infrastructure, blue infrastructure. So there are these names coming through through our community. Why? Because they're saying only construction या infrastructure नहीं होता.
Yeah.
Right? So that is I think that is also important to note. And of course, I said decentralization is important, very important, because of one, that 15-minute idea, but also because it should be quickly reachable.
Yeah. So
that infrastructure.
So there's a huge sociological aspect to urban planning, right? Since you're building a society.
Humongous.
Yeah.
In fact, urban planning has to stem from that sociological and the geoclimatic aspect.
Right.
That's the base.
And I think Jane Jacobs and Charles Correa, like you said before, spoke about it too.
Yeah. And even Mr. Kevin Lynch.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to move to something which you're really vociferous about. Which is carrying capacity.
Vociferous का मतलब क्या है? Right down there.
Which is carrying capacity.
Yeah.
You said. For you really love speaking about carrying capacity.
Yeah.
So what is carrying capacity? What does it mean? When you take a Deccan neighborhood, say, which is planned for 150 people per hectare or something like that, and then you redevelop it. You have so many more people coming in. What does it mean? What does it cost?
Okay, so first disclaimer: carrying capacity is an ecological concept.
Okay.
It's to look at how much, I'll call it, biodiversity. 1 hectare, but as a cube, can carry. Okay. So 1 hectare, the carrying capacity of 1 hectare is basically measured, and then that gives you the health of that forest or whatever.
That area.
Right. So then I picked up on it, but surprisingly, China is following this in a big way.
Okay.
What I'm talking about.
Okay.
Right. But I didn't see that. I mean, like, I did this. I was thinking of this maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
And China is like pushing it in a big way. The idea is that, okay, if you have a settlement, you're taking Deccan, so okay, we'll take Deccan. We'll take a ward. A ward in Pune, which is supposed to be around 80,000 to 100,000 people. What would be the elements that enable them to have a good life, but which also entails food, okay, water supply, clean drinking water and stuff like that, electricity, treated sewage.
Yeah.
And when I say water supply, I'm saying daily water supply of 135 liters per person per day. Okay, so again, we go back to the norms.
Yeah.
Right? And so if we created norms that said that this is the minimum requirement for one person, okay, for all these things. Okay, I'm also talking about like parks. Having access to parks is part of carrying capacity. Okay, having a job is part of carrying capacity. Can this city create the jobs to carry that population?
Okay.
Right? And jobs is important because these people will then earn so that they can give back to the city economy, because then they'll spend, right? And they will add to that economy.
Right.
So you talk about prosperous cities, and then this would be a good good way to measure a prosperous city.
Okay.
Which is, one is that are there enough jobs that the city can create? Okay, and once they can create the jobs, are they giving the facilities, the service, all this infrastructure that we spoke about? Are they providing that infrastructure? Are they enabling people to get access to good food? I'm not talking about restaurants.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about just good food. Can they buy good food at home, for home? Do they have access to clean drinking water? So basic needs. Right, you can look at that Maslow's pyramid in a way, but what's very important is that, so if a settlement cannot carry this population, then it's untenable. Okay, and this is a good example, I think, for Mumbai. There are parts of Mumbai that, okay, so Mumbai, 60% of Mumbai, I think, lives in slums.
Right.
Okay, so how are you taking care of those slum dwellers? What are the conditions they are living in? Right? 40% of Pune is in slums. So we are leading our hunky-dory lives in nice localities in the city. And we are aware, maybe we've not seen it in depth, but as planners, we have to go to the slums, we have to work with the people living there. And it's not a great life. I mean, they make the best of it, and they might be even amongst the happiest people because they know how to make do with less.
Right.
Right? And they have come to a realization that this is how my life is. So I will smile and I will lead a great life, right? But you have high crime because there's no jobs.
Yeah.
You have low tax payout, and the city's main source of income is tax.
Right.
Right. So it becomes a win-win if you can actually first measure a city against these various norms of carrying capacity, and say that, okay, you know what, this line is your minimum, okay, that you need to provide. Just to say that we don't need life support. Okay, and then you kind of exit, like 2x set, 3x set, 4x set, and you say, okay, that line is my ideal city line. Okay, that is, so what starts happening is the city gets a target.
Right.
To go towards, right? And if the population is brought on board and said that, hey, this is our target together, we're going to achieve this together,
Okay.
right? Then there is, I feel there is more potential for that city to, one, come together and develop, okay, where your negotiations, which I mentioned before, become easier because everybody is on board with the same game plan. Right? And I think this whole idea of game plan, I think I'm going to start promoting it a lot, because what's happened in India is nobody's on the game plan. There is no game plan. Right? What's the game plan? And so I think that's a very important question to ask. And it's been going in my head for the past 2 or 3 years, that even if I went and met a politician, if I went and met a government servant, if I met a citizen, nobody's got a game plan for the city. Right? And for those who do not know game plan, check in the comments, because somebody will give you the answer. Right? So the idea is that to have that common game plan, you need to be able to measure, because by measuring, you can represent our status today. Okay. And so what do you measure on? Carrying capacity. Why? Because if you can carry your own city, then you're set, you're good. Okay, so what I felt was like, if I can evangelize, so I'm an evangelist, I'm a carrying capacity evangelist, right? But people have not still yet been able to measure it properly. So what we are doing with my team is, we are right now in the process of trying to put it into perspective, understand how to measure it. But I will say this: if you go on any AI system and you check urban carrying capacity, there's a lot of really good publications from China. For some reason. And I think they are being very innovative with it. So even I'm taking a lot of inspiration from that, and a lot of their ideas are very good. But another big problem that we face in India, which is data. Okay, and so we're having this huge problem with a lack of data.
Okay.
And I'm saying think tanks, you take think tanks, you take colleges, you take research institutions, you take the government themselves, there is very little data available. Or there's a lot of data, but in so many different formats that you cannot compile it properly.
Okay.
Or there is only bits of a lot of data for one place. So you can't compare against cities or stuff like that. Right? And or one more problem is, or the wrong data is being collected.
Okay.
Irrelevant data is being collected. Right? So what I feel is that this is it has to be a concerted effort across professions, where the professionals, they come together, they have conferences and they decide, okay, this is the data we want to collect, and this is the data we tell the government to collect, right? Alternatively, we can collect it ourselves.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to get at. You emphasize a lot on collecting data and citizen participation. But is this, are we just trying to work around the government not collecting data? Is it the government's job? Or, some people would argue that it is the government's job to collect data.
It is their job.
Okay, and in a way, we also look down upon collecting data, right?
Everybody looks down on it.
Yeah, or we rather research on the data instead of collecting it.
So this is a big problem, and I think research methodology is extremely important, must be taught across the board.
Okay.
Right? Because research, as human beings, I feel that our vocation as a species is to create things.
Okay.
And I feel that all our innovation and everything, it all goes into creating new things.
Okay.
And providing solutions, right? And if you're in any profession, your job is to provide a solution. That's the job.
Simple.
Any profession, right? Somebody comes to you and says, "Iska kya karna hai?" Right? Or ये data entry नहीं हुई. It's still a solution. Okay, मैं करता हूँ. Right? So you're providing solutions. And I feel that our vocation as humanity being creation. And the way we understand the world, creation is contingent on how we understand the world, right? And so to understand the world, you require research, right? And you require rigor in that research. So I feel research methodology is extremely important. I mean, like a basic skill.
Yeah.
Why? Because I also understand my reality as a being. Okay, like how I understand it is actually a way of research, because we are all absorbing data, right? With our eyes, with smell, with taste, right? With touch and with hearing, right? And we've kind of forgotten that.
Okay.
Okay. I feel that we've taken it for granted, or we just not noticed that every piece of knowledge we have created has come through these 5 sensory organs or senses of perception, right?
Okay.
And your knowledge building blocks are all coming in through that, right? And so I feel emphasis on research, of course, needs emphasis on data. Okay, data points, samples, right? And that's why I'm pushing data collection. So I'm saying whether it's the government job or not, it's your vocation. You've been doing it even unknowingly. You're collecting data. Right? And you're making opinions, right? And you're sharing opinions, and then you're either being negative or positive of something. So how are you doing all of that? Because you are doing the whole, you're doing that, right? And you're doing, I don't like it, right? Or, like that's what's happening. We listen to others, that's second-hand data, right? We read a book, that's second-hand data. That's why we call it secondary data, right? Because we are then referring to something that somebody else has created, data-wise. So primary data collection, that's what you're talking about, that people don't like. Yeah, because it takes effort. And the approach is wrong. I feel, like I said right now, you are anyway collecting primary data right now by listening to me, right? You're absorbing it. So, so you're anyway doing it. So why should it? Don't bother. Just do it. Right? And it's important. I'll tell you why. Because if you are the collector of that, that's where the citizens come in. And that's why I'm saying the government is not. So the government should be collecting data.
Okay.
But I think it should be collecting most of its data through the citizens. And which it does. Because if you did a census, you will go and talk to citizens and say, आपके घर में कितने लोग रहते हैं? हाँ, वो क्या करते हैं? उनके ages क्या है? gender kya hai. So you are doing that. Right?
Yeah.
Obvio.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, okay, fine. So then let's start creating interfaces for engaging with citizens. And I said this before also because there are end user,
Yeah.
right? In for the urban planner also. So yeah, so then we need interfaces to enable citizens to collect data. We at CDSA have started the whole quantified cities movement with the iNagrik web app and stuff like that. And the idea is that we push surveys to citizens. Essentially, it's pushing surveys, right? And they respond to that survey. But in some cases, people who are enthu actually will walk the street and like look at things. They look at walkability status. They look at maybe if a road has a pothole or something, and they can report it. And many people are doing it actually.
Yeah.
So our thing is that let's get that primary data. The risk is, of course, that if you have a crazy citizen who's like drunk out of their wits and goes around town like, putting up any sort of data they want, that's the risk.
That's the risk.
Okay, it's a funny risk, but as I am a person of rigorous research,
right,
I don't like that.
Okay.
Right. So that's why what we also do is we create control groups, right, and we'll train them, and we'll make them go out and collect data only when they're sober, right? Which is important for accuracy.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel that yes, so data is important. Research is important. Research is an ongoing process. It is a continuous process. There is iteration. We should not even look at it in a disjointed manner.
Yeah.
It is happening continuously, right? And I think everybody should be part of that. I mean, they are part of it. They just don't know it.
Right.
And I mean, if there are people who journal. I'm not a journaler. But people are.
Okay. Yeah.
Journaler.
And
I find them very impressive because that's what they're doing. They actually, everything that they absorbed in that day,
they're writing it down.
They're documenting it. Okay, so documentation is important. And in fact, in our governance, like in the Pune Mahanagar Palika, there is very little documentation.
Yeah, I mean, when I was working under you, I was the one, creating the spatial data. So for PMC. So.
Correct. So now what we are saying is that, if the government can't do it, then we'll do it. Nahi zamat hai na, ami kar. That's my message.
Yeah.
Because actually, they can do it. I don't think they're motivated. Okay, so let's from the side of the government. One is they are given no incentive to do this. Secondly, even if there was a good scientifically minded individual, civil servant or politician or whatever, they are not encouraged to do this stuff, right? There will be, but they are not encouraged to do this stuff. They don't get the funding. There is a manpower problem. And more importantly, citizens are also not so encouraging.
So then that slowly becomes our responsibility.
Yeah, and what citizens are not understanding is the relationship between you and the government is not antagonistic.
Right.
They are there to help you. They take your tax, which can be antagonizing.
Yeah.
But ye hamara paisa le rahe ho. Okay. And we hear about a lot of corruption and stuff like that, which does exist. But the fact is that they are all civil servants.
Yeah.
Right? And as civil servants, they should be respected and requested. Accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel that the government could have collected a data. For instance, the United States, various departments collect such amazing data.
Okay.
And that data is available to the public. And I wish we could emulate that.
Yeah.
Right? There's also a suspicion. So that's another thing, kind of against the government. They're suspicious to give the data. They hold it very close.
Yeah.
And, as if it's like, they're protecting Fort Knox or something. National security. And it's like, me use data. So that was also another thing. So, in a way, it turned into kind of a renegade data collection thing. We kind of got pissed off that we were not getting the data.
Yeah.
And so we reacted by saying, okay, we'll build a system that way, that enables us to collect fast data as accurate as possible. And that's why that system is evolved.
Okay, but I want to talk about iNagrik, right? On your website, it says the people who the volunteers would be any citizen regardless of age, gender, occupation or background. But in practice, who actually would participate? Because I'd assume people downloading the app and actually going and collecting data are already people who are relatively educated and digitally
Okay,
connected.
now we've completely removed that step of downloading.
Okay.
It's a web app.
Oh wow.
www.cdsaindia.org/iNagrik.
Yeah.
iNagrik, I-N-A-G-R-I-K. Nagrik, not Nagarik.
Okay.
Which is the Marathi,
Right,
which I would have actually done.
Yeah.
But I said there's more non-Maharashtrian, so
Yeah, why not?
yeah, we'll go with that. Actually, the bigger problem is age.
Okay.
Misrepresentation.
Okay.
Because if you even take people that you might be thinking are not well educated, they're very savvy with the phone.
Okay.
Okay, and especially from our age group, or like from say 18 to say 50,
Okay.
they're quite savvy. But the problem is that beyond 50, it's a desert, right? And whether you are educated or not, it's a desert.
Okay.
Right. So one part is that if you're not trained in data collection, there's going to be errors.
Okay.
Right? Or there is going to be errors in what sense? It's not even like on purpose. You're just misinterpreting a situation or misreporting something. So that can happen. So one is your user interface is extremely important. How you design it, and it should be as simple as possible, as basic as possible. Right? So that's one thing that we've done. Two is we moved away from native apps and came to web app because we felt it will be more accessible to more people. And it is, and it's better. And it's free. So that's opened the doors for access as well. Now the question is of accuracy, right? And bias. So what happens is all of us are ruled by bias. And so that bias comes into the reporting where it comes to citizens. And I will not deny that. And that brings down your accuracy. But what we also do is that we have, so we do two programs, kind of internship. One is a proper internship program, which you were a part of, where we train you how to collect that data. And you are injecting data into an ongoing program that we are, doing. But otherwise also we have something known as the Alliance for Resilient Cities.
Oh wow.
ARC. ARC. And we did that on purpose actually. In fact, when we came up with the name, we were like smiling and laughing and stuff. Because it's like ARC. Okay. And so under ARC, actually, it's an alliance. So the idea is that any organization, even government agencies, even educational like institutions, everybody can come and join ARC, right? And the idea is that we collect data. So there's a lot of architecture colleges from Pune who join us, and we do these drives, data collection drives, usually during their downtime. And where we get like thousands of uploads and stuff like that. So that is where we also train classes full of students. So I wouldn't call it like an internship, but it's like a data collection drive. And they get certificates for doing that. So these are two ways of doing this, and that we found to be effective and least painful. But otherwise, we also do training programs with citizens. So a lot of the Mohalla committees we go to. We did this 5 years ago with Deccan Gymkhana Parisar Samiti. We've done it with an organization known as the National Society for Clean Cities that actually has multiple representatives from various wards. So we've done a lot actually with them, far more than DGPS and stuff. So that helps, but I've seen that those citizens also still have a bias. So it's important to be patient and like do an annual retraining. So training is like half an hour, essentially, where you show them the app, you revisit the app, you ask them what they're finding wrong with it, if they already know how to use it, and you just give a general overview of how you can use it. And it's quite simple actually, so it doesn't really take that long. It's quite intuitive. You thought so too, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. So
Yeah.
The only way, the only challenge is that bias removal.
Okay.
Right? It's like some of our interns who were collecting data on walkability are collecting only data on footpaths. Okay, so it's like, then how are you showing the, theek hai na, jidhar footpath hai, that's fine. But then go to the places, like go to the gullies
Where they aren't.
where there aren't footpaths.
Right.
So that's kind of a bias.
Okay.
So there are many situations where it's not anybody's fault. It's just how you're thinking.
Okay.
Right? And it's just your approach to collecting data or information. So that's another thing. But yeah, you can get over it, like through training and stuff.
Cool. So I have a few data points for you. So Pune ranks second in India's TomTom traffic index. Okay, that's 71.1% congestion. And and so PMC also last year approved 78% more high-rise projects.
Yeah.
In Pune.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate here.
Play it.
Okay. I'm saying the developer profits from every approval that they get. Okay. The PMC earns their development charges. The state government earns their stamp duty. And the politicians are supported by the economy, the real estate economy.
No, and they might be funded by developers.
Yeah. So who puts their foot down and says, no, our city can't take any more. So we need to stop. Who does that?
Only the citizen can do that.
Okay.
Because the citizen is actually the person who votes for that politician.
Right.
So the citizen, and who can support them is the fourth estate.
Okay.
The fourth estate means
French Revolution, fourth estate.
the media.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And the media is not supporting them.
All right.
The media is shutting up. Okay. Media likes, they don't cover, this is boring. Okay. That, oh, we looked at data and this was, some people do it. Some people come. I'm not going to say no, nobody covers it. But if the media supported the citizens wholeheartedly, because they're citizens themselves, just saying.
Yeah.
And in fact, all of these stakeholders that you mentioned are all citizens.
Right.
It's just that their payoff is higher, to being just a citizen. They're all profiting in some way.
Yeah.
Okay. So if they weren't, they would have also joined the. Right.
Okay. So it is the citizens who. It's the citizens' hands.
It has to be citizens.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, citizens are not organized. So if we organize, if we come together, and it doesn't have to be, again, I'm saying it doesn't have to be antagonistic. This is not like some picture wala hero story and we all went and did a morcha. No.
Yeah.
See, we need referendums, right? And which we can do.
Yeah.
So you can bring in referendums. Then there are people who want to yell and, there's a different group of people and they're good at it.
Yeah.
So they'll do it. You don't need to do it.
Yeah.
Many people think that how do I become part of this? How can I can't do it. No, you can. Even if you wrote a letter saying that I object to this, you can.
You've still done something.
But one important point is that when you're talking about high rises in particular, people don't know what the impact of high rises is.
Okay.
So that is a problem. So another very important thing is that it is our job, especially think tanks, NGOs, to make people aware of the issues and the impacts.
Right.
So another exercise I'm doing is actually I'm trying to build a model. I'm going to take great care when I say supported by AI because that's getting overused now for everything. But we are building a model to actually look at impacts in these changes.
Okay.
So if you have a bungalow and it goes to a high rise, what is the impact of that?
Okay.
So we are currently building a model.
Nice.
Now, hopefully that can be used by various entities as a tool to showcase what happens. It's not just developing, oh, kai imarat ban liye, or like, wow, we're now in New York. You're not.
Yeah.
Okay, you're in Pune.
Yeah.
And you're like, the impact will be really bad.
Yeah. I heard you say in one of your podcasts, you said, don't complain, build the data, and we'll present a case and then we can make a change. So
Don't complain.
So I want to get to the rapid fire. I have a few questions for you. And I want you to
fire away.
Yeah. So it's just whatever comes to your mind at first. Okay. So the best planned city in India.
Whoa. Wow. There are good cities. There are. I'm not going to say Chandigarh. I'm not going to say
answer.
Delhi, though Delhi is quite well planned, but it's Lutyens Delhi.
Yeah.
For the rich and the government.
Right.
Right. And Boy, oh boy. I mean, see, all of India, all the cities are like congested and there's construction and, I guess once upon a time, best planned city, let's put it that way. Until the whole congestion started and stuff. Until the carrying capacity got affected.
Right.
I would say the best planned city, to an extent, was certain parts of, I can only speak for, so Bangalore, certain parts of Bangalore were very nice.
Okay.
Once upon a time. Now Bangalore is in big trouble.
Yeah.
Because they're developing. And Bombay.
Okay.
I'm talking about Bombay, not Mumbai.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about South Bombay.
South Bombay.
Okay, that was quite nice. Used to be.
Yeah.
Parts of Pune also, of course. The town planning schemes were nice. I have mentioned Delhi, but again, Delhi is not for everyone. So, Salt Lake City, Kolkata, that's also kind of nice.
Yeah.
Parts of Ahmedabad are nice. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay. One urban planning concept every Indian citizen should understand.
Urban planning concept now?
Yeah.
The citizen's voice is the most important.
Okay.
Start participating more.
Wow. All right.
And don't complain.
Okay. The 74th Amendment, was it a success story or a missed opportunity?
Missed opportunity.
Oh, okay. One thing Indian cities urgently need more of and then less of.
Planners.
Oh, and less of?
Construction.
Your favorite thing about Pune?
My favorite thing about Pune. पुण्याच्या टेकड्या. Yeah, पुण्याच्या टेकड्या are very, like, I actually love that about Pune. I love, okay, I'll tell you what I love about Pune, and it has nothing to do with Punekars or something. Pune, as we say in Marathi, Nemka, is filled with, all these NCL and estates,
Right.
and like the cantonment and stuff like that. So my favorite thing is that because all these places exist, Pune has not become Mumbai.
Okay.
And that is my favorite thing about Pune.
Okay.
But overall, what I really like is Pune. I'm born and brought up here.
Yeah.
So that's why you can think of so many things.
Yeah.
But in general, I actually like the spirit of Pune. I like the way people are. They are a bit, people might not like us. But I like that the way. I'll tell you why. It pushes you to make yourself better.
Okay.
Okay, because people are going to be sarcastic, people are going to judge you.
Yeah.
So you can take it either, in the bad way, which is like get into a shell and like hate the world.
Yeah.
Or you can be like most Punekars, which is have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I like that spirit.
Okay. Nice. Okay. And high-rise buildings in Pune, is it a necessity or just modern infrastructure?
Unnecessary, not infrastructure.
Okay. Okay. That's all.
I'll tell you why, but quickly.
Okay.
High-rise buildings, Mumbai required because it's narrow. In Pune, we can spread out. So you don't need to densify.
A radial city. Pune.
Yeah, it's a radial city.
Right.
So you can look at city structures.
Yeah.
You take Mumbai, you take New York City, Manhattan. They have to go vertically because they've got water on all sides. That's why.
Okay. So finally, I'd like to ask you is how are you planning to make a change now with the way the data collection and citizen participation? What are your plans and how you really plan to make a change?
Okay, so first plan is get more people on board for data collection.
Okay.
So we're doing that. We're pushing in a big way. The next thing is using that data, start mapping opinions, start mapping what people actually feel they need.
Yeah.
Start identifying gaps through that data in infrastructure, in even in social infrastructure. We are trying to also think about this cities of care concept.
Okay.
So there's many innovations that can be applied to Pune. So that's another big thing that we want to bring them in. We will be working with the Maha Metro to do last mile mobility. So I think that could help at every station. It's like urban acupuncture that was done in Curitiba in Brazil.
Okay.
Where you can improve a small area, but it has an impact over the larger city. So that's something we want to push for. which we are pushing for in a big way. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us your
Thank you
time.
for having me. Thank you for having me.
See you.
And thank you for your service.